Xavier Librecht, l'éperon Cavadeus. To prove his goodwill, sa bonne foi, McLean said that he has asked for blood test, urine test, and air test, and that there were no return on his question. I mean, that he has not been tested.
Pour prouver sa bonne foi, le cavalier a demandé un test d'urine, un test sanguin et aussi un test des poils, mais il n'a eu aucune réaction, aucune réponse, et ce test n'a pas été effectué. Pourquoi?
The first thing I'd like to say in response to that is that we have stressed it and we made it very clear to him that under no time did we have any evidence of any malpractice or any maladministration to this horse. We were just considering that the horse was showing hypersensitivity, and we did not have any evidence that anything had been done to the horse deliberately. At that time, last night after the examination, I not only told him, but told Tim Ober, the team vet, that the horse would be MCP tested, because it is very important. I agree that that should be done. So this morning, the horse was MCP tested, and both urine and blood were collected, which will be subject for analysis.
Question up front here.
Patrick Isser du journal L'Équipe à Paris. Vous parlez d'un contrôle d'hypersensibilité positif. À partir de quel seuil, à partir de quel taux un tel contrôle est-il positif? Et puis, dans la mesure où vous excluez toute preuve de pratique douteuse, comment peut s'expliquer ce taux d'hypersensibilité positif?
You're talking about a positive hypersensitivity test. Well, what is your measurement? What is your percentage? From what percentage do you know and you judge that it is above a certain limit? You're insisting on the fact that there are no malpractices. Where does it come from then?
Okay, that's a two-part question. The answer to the first part is that it's entirely a clinical judgment. It's based on clinical experience, and that is why not only was it my experience that was put to the test, but it was also the experience of two other very well-known and experienced other international equine veterinary surgeons. In terms of the level of reaction, that is in exactly the same way that we would assess pain in practice. In other words, assessing the response of the horse to a physical examination. Sorry, what was the other part of the question?
You say there is no evidence of malpractice. Where does it come from?
And in terms of no evidence, obviously, while we are making the examination, we are making a visual examination for any indication that the horse may have been tampered, injured, whether there was any signs of blood, whether there was any cream or substance applied to the surface of the leg. So we rub our hands and we smell the hands to see if any contact comes forward. And there was no evidence whatsoever. So at this moment of time, we have no belief that there was any malpractice at all.
What's the main problem? Is that the hypersensibility can help to do a good result, or that the horse suffered during the competition?
Okay, that is not our decision to make. Under the protocol, we are appointed as clinicians to assess hypersensitivity. And the protocol was purely designed for the assessment of hypersensitivity. And the protocol says that as a clinician, if we find that a horse is unduly hypersensitive, we report it to the ground jury, which is what happened.
I might be able to comment slightly on that also by describing a little on the background how this protocol and how this method has been developed. It is, of course, originally a matter of finding out ways to protect both horses and riders and make sure that there is a level playing field. We started this process of developing the hypersensitivity and thermographic program about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago. It was discussed originally in the jumping committee, and I would state also that the jumping committee has representatives from the Jumping Riders Club as members. During that process, we step by step came to the conclusion that the thermography part plays a smaller role today than it did originally. So more emphasis has been laid on the clinical examination. In this process, during these years, we have tested the protocol at a number of competitions, both championships and smaller competition. And the protocol has been improved on a step-by-step basis through the feedback from the riders and through the feedback from the testing veterinarians. We finally, the version of this protocol that has been used here was developed till August last year, 2009. It has been tested on a number of competitions after that, and before it was finally presented for the General Assembly for approval. The protocol and the information that it will be used during this competition was given also at the briefing to the riders on Tuesday.
Back, please.
Hi there, I'm Lulu Kiriakou, Irish Field, Horse International and Horse Taught New Zealand on this occasion. I'm going to have to explain this, hi there Paul, I'm going to have to explain this to some very non-horsey people, so I'd like this to be absolutely clear. The horse showed no sign of actual lameness. It trotted up sound, is that correct? And it was only that touching the legs 57 times, it raised its legs 7 times, and that is what we're basing this subjective decision on.
Dans mes articles, je dois expliquer ce qui s'est exactement passé à certaines personnes qui ne connaissent pas le sport, qui ne sont pas des techniciens. Donc j'aimerais être absolument claire. Est-ce que vous pouvez préciser encore une fois, le cheval ne boitait pas et lorsqu'il a été examiné et que ses jambes ont été touchées 57 fois, il a levé la jambe seulement 7 fois. Est-ce que vous pouvez confirmer ceci?
Okay, another two-part question. The first thing to say is that under the protocol, we do not trot the horse up. So the first thing to say is that whether the horse was lame or sound is not part of this assessment in any way whatsoever. The second part, with reference to the number of times that the horse was palpated, I have to say, as I mentioned before, we compare the examination of both forelimbs together, even though in this particular case we had an indication of 1 point on the left fore about 1 centimetre above the coronary band. So all the examination that was done on the right fore, you could almost say was done for comparative purposes. As far as my examination on the left fore was concerned, I tended most of the time to use 1 finger only, so that I was only pressing on focal points. But every single time that I pressed on the area that I was concerned about, the horse showed a marked reaction, sufficient for us to be convinced that this was a case of hypersensitivity.
En éliminant ce cavalier, vous prenez une décision lourde, de conséquences sur l'image du sport. Les journalistes du monde entier sont là. Moi, ma question, c'est que j'ai un petit sentiment personnel d'un petit flou artistique. Concrètement, on aime bien ce qui est concret quand on est journaliste, qu'on puisse l'expliquer aussi au public. Qu'est-ce que vous reprochez de façon concrète? Quelles sont les preuves concrètes que vous avez à l'encontre du cavalier pour l'éliminer? Puisqu'apparemment, rien de concret n'a été détecté, si ce n'est que quelques suspicions.
Yeah. Donc, you have taken a very hard decision, a very serious decision for the entire sport. We're here also surrounded by a vast number of international media. But my impression is that this is a bit unclear, a bit chaotic. I don't think that you have anything concrete. You just have some suspicions, and that's what you're basing yourself upon. Is that the case? Can you clarify?
I would repeat what I've said in a way already, that we are working. Yeah. Yeah. If I can just explain that according to the protocol, we are looking for hypersensitivity. The horse shows very clear reaction, not on one occasion, but on the basis of 2 occasions, to veterinary examination from 3 independent equine veterinary surgeons. On all occasions, the horse showed very marked stimulated reaction, and video evidence was taken that was presented to the FEI. The first time it was presented to the ground jury, because obviously it was their decision to make the elimination. But all that evidence now goes to the FEI for their records.